Hello, in this session we'll paint a natural shape, which is an apple shape. The shape is both rounded and freeform at the steps. The first step is sketching. The second step is painting the overall color and added the shadow. Next, add the surface details. Then we will paint the leaves overall color, including adding light and shadow to the leaf. The next step is adding the shape under the object and we'll be done. The brushes that we will be using are the peppermint brush, the hard brush, and the technical pen. The Tamer cloud brush and the Eagle Hawk. First, let's create a canvas. Let's create 3000 by 3000 canvas with at least 300 dpi, otherwise the picture will be pixelated. Let's bring the original picture, choose Insert a Photo, and we'll reduce the opacity to original picture layer and make it quite faded. Now we can see this sketch that we'll be creating above. Adding a layer renamed Sketch, it will be on the top original photo. Choose the peppermint brush and pick the black color. I use a small brush to sketching. When you're happy with the brush size, we can start. I want you to focus on the sketching. The more detail we sketch, the easier it will be when we paint. Think of it as a chance to practice drawing. Sketch by following what you see. You may not feel comfortable at first, but if you keep doing it, you'll get used to it. If you already have your favorite pencil brush, you can use that as well. I'm okay with that. I won't force you to use a certain brush, but it's totally up to you. In addition to the shape, I want you to draft the light to shadow as well. Just to indicate the location of the light, shadow, and color. This will help you to paint better as well. There's a reflection down there. The upper part is the light, the lower part is the reflection. Now we're done. Next, let's choose our colors. I'll increase opacity original picture layer to 100% and move to the side. I'll use the hard brush to help me to choose the colors. Choose the medium color first. Then choose the color with one shade darker, the dark red color, And there are also colors we'll use for the light, the pink color. And the cream color are the colors of the light. There's the yellow core as well. And the green color for the leaf. Also the dark green colors for the leaf shadow. Even darker green here. We also have the stem color, the brown color, light brown color, dark brown color. Choose all of them. I'll add this dark red color just a bit. Okay, now we add the color, rename it to base apple. We'll use the layer for apple's base color. I will reduce the opacity of the sketch for us to have a better view. Then we create the apple shape. Choose the medium red color. Start painting by following the sketch line that we just did. Try to stick to the sketch line as much as possible. I'll teach you how to paint the shape for the apple first, then we'll paint the stem and then the leaf last. There's not much to draw now. Just paint by following the sketch lines. It's very simple. Keep in mind that the rule of creating the shape to prepare for coloring is that all the lines have to meet. There should be no gap. All lines has to meet. Otherwise, the color will leak out. Make sure to create a close outline. All the lines have to meet. Check carefully before you fill the color in. When you're done, fill the color in. I'll add the layer, rename it to shadow 1. We'll start painting that. Make sure you turn on the clipping mask. Enable the pencil. I'll use a next dark color, choose the Tamara color cloud brush and start painting. The light comes from the left side, so the shadow will be on the right side, just like the original picture. Reduce the brush opacity a little for the smoothness. And use circular motion that you paint. I'm not applying hand pressure at all. Think of when we did the shading is similar to that. The black and white shading started with the black color and slowly graduate the color to fade it. The same technique. Other than painting the bottom here, there is also the small area on the left. Check the original when you paint and you'll know where to paint each color. Some people ask me why my trick is for shading. Does it look realistic? My answer is to follow the original picture, and I'm not even trying to mess with you. Okay, so if you want to learn and what to draw a realistic painting, we just keep checking on the original picture. We'll have to depend on it first, and this is considered one of the basics. Gently paint your strokes in the same direction. As I said, I will make the stroke look neater. Slowly darken it. There's the upper part as well, right next to the right. The light is pretty obvious shadow here. Then spread it down. There's also the area near the edge on the right. Paint your stroke neatly. Take your time. You really feel it if someone pay attention to detail or not. It shows in your work. There's some down here as well, the dent part under the apple. The other side too. Paint the first layer before building the shadow layer up. There's a little bit on the left here as well. Try squinting. When you squint, you will see the shades differences. Next step, add a layer, rename it to light. We'll do the first light layer. Enable clipping mask as well, choosing the pink color and use it for the first light layer. I want you to see the overall look when it has light and shadow first. Then we'll emphasize the shadow later. Use the same shading technique. Use circular motion to paint. Take your time, slowly build the color up. Apply hand pressure for the part you need to emphasize, and slowly release the pressure when spreading the light color. Use the smudge tool to help. I'm using the same Timber Cloud brush for the smudge tool. I will make it spread out. Let's change it back to using the brush again. I will add more light on the top here, near the base of the stem. Where else? Here on the top, the white area that is strongly hit. Before we use the white color to create the light, I want to slowly graduate the color from pink, light pink, and white respectively. It looks more natural that way. Don't just use the white directly and make our work look stiff. It doesn't look professional. Paint the other side as well. Check the original picture as you go. Repeat that about 100 times. Keep checking the original while painting. Check the original and listen to my voice. Now slowly paint your stroke in the same direction. Reduce the brush size a little when you paint a smaller area. Use a small brush when you want to emphasize the light. And there is some more small reflection on the right. It's a reflected light, but not as strong as the left side. This part is considered a reflection. Slowly do your stroke. I will reduce the hand pressure now. I won't apply a lot of hand pressure. You'll notice that I keep changing my brush size. When you want to paint a big flat area, increase the brush size. Keep painting, you will know when to increase or reduce the brush size. There's also an area at the bottom of the apple here. It looks similar to a reflection. And add emphasis up here a bit. We have to paint this layer as best as we can before moving to the brighter light. Paint beautifully that you think it looks gorgeous by just a few layers. Make every step counts. Choose the yellow color and add to the light on the left side. Do it in the same layer. Adding the yellow to it, notice that the top left area is a little yellowish. It's the apple's pattern. Adjust the color a bit until you're happy with it. Apple hand pressure at first and then slowly reduce it. The same technique that we used to shading and the geometric shapes exercised in the previous lesson. Slowly paint your strokes in the same direction. Discard the red pattern of the apple. We'll get that later. Let's paint the yellow for now. Paint overall color first. Check if there's any other part that is in yellow. I'll add it to the bottom of the apple a little bit. Then add a bit more light on the top, paint some strokes. Okay, I'll add another layer, rename it Shadow 2. We'll use the dark red color for the second shadow layer. Add it under the apple first. You'll see that it's obviously dark. Keep painting until you're happy with it. When you paint with a dark color, make sure not overdo it. Don't cover all the color in the previous layer. Just to emphasize the shadow, don't cover the whole thing with it. the video is too fast, you can't keep up. You can't see the tool properly. Check the bottom left your screen. Put the color and brush I'm using. As I said, when you paint with a dark color, don't overdo it. Just add to emphasize the shadow, and that's enough. Be careful not to put too much dark color. Check the originals as you go. We'll keep painting until the step is completed. After that, we'll paint the second light. Okay, let's start the second light layer. I will add the layer, rename it to Light 2. Enable the clipping mask as well. Use the cream color, the same cream color that were chosen, but I will bring it brighter. When you're ready, let's start. Keep adjusting the brush size as you feel comfortable. Apply hand pressure, release, repeat. Paint your stroke in the same direction as usual. Slowly build the color up until it's clear. You notice that the upper part of the light area is pretty bright, so highlighting in. Reduce the brush size and paint in strokes. I think it's beautiful. It's up to you though. When you highlight a small area, reduce the brush size and apply a little hand pressure. Don't press on the screen too hard. If you want to apply a lot of hand pressure, adjust it from the added pressure curve so you won't get tired. Now I reduce the opacity of the sketch so we can have a better view of the color. Clean up the edge. You can use the color and the light to clean it up. Highlight the area where the light hits strongly, as I mentioned before. There's the edge of the apple here at the back where the light hits as well. That's about it. My technique is to keep checking the original picture, paint the strokes in the same direction, and control your hand pressure. There's also the reflection on the right as well, that the light hits pretty strongly. However, the brightest spot is on the top left area that we are working on. Brighten the color and make it almost white. It's almost the brightest color to the light. Reduce the brush size and use it for highlighting and make the light more obvious. It looks realistic now. You add more strokes to give a little more detail as you like. The style that I like is something like this. I like the strokes to be a little obvious. What else need to have a streaky texture here? We'll notice that the light here looks streaky as well. Try to be obvious. Almost done. Highlight to the edge. Add a layer, rename to detail. Don't forget the clipping mask. I will move the layer and put it under the light to choose the Eagle Hawk brush and choose the color red. Start painting the apple surface. You notice that the apple surface is a streaky pattern in some area to the dot pattern. We'll do all of those in this layer. Choose a color and start painting some strokes. Do it in the same direction as well. You want an area look streaky, choose a color from that area and paint some stroke there. In the middle as well. I'll choose the color and add some strokes, but try to do it gently. The pattern won't be all over the apple, it's more like creating the texture for the apple's surface. Next, I'll make the small dots on the apple, the yellowish dots. Choose a yellow color and lightly put dots on the apple. Mix it up as well. Paint randomly. Some will be dots and some will be short strokes. Just slightly, don't make it too obvious. You can reduce the opacity of the brush even more if you want to look more natural. Check the original as you go. Don't put too much pressure, paint lightly. Just tap, tap, tap. Check for the area when we should paint the pattern. There's the upper part of the apple here as well that has yellow streaky strokes. Paint your strokes slightly, take your time with it. The top of the apple near the base of the stem has a brighter yellow color. If you want to add more dots, you can do that, just don't overdo it. Don't forget the bottom part as well. Okay, I think I add enough dots. If you want to add more dots or more details, go for it. For the next step will be painting the stem and the leaf. Add a layer, rename it base leaf. Let's choose the color. Choose the green color first, since we start with the leaf. Use the technical pen brush and draft it. You see, the good thing about sketching, we don't have to think a lot. Just follow our sketch line. Put the sketch layer on the top, and then we'll see all the details. When you're ready, fill in the color. Don't forget the stem. The brown color will start with the brown color first, and then I use the light brown color as the light. Add a layer, rename it Shadow Leaf 1. Enable clipping mask as well. I'll group the apple layer to avoid confusion. Rename the group to Apple. Go back to the shadow leaf layer and choose the Timber Cloud brush. Now start painting. We'll paint the dark green color we chosen earlier. Check the original as you go to find the dark shadow near area of the leaf. Around the mid-rib and the edge, a little dark. The shadow of the edge on the top is pretty dark. You'll start to see more dimensions now. It's not difficult at all. The step is very quick. I'm working on it alone. I can do it pretty quickly. There's a dent part in the center of the leaf as well. Also the part near the leaf stem. Check out the original as you go. Don't forget the stem. Or reduce the brush size and emphasize the leaf's pattern. Start with adding the darker green shadow, and then we'll add the pattern later together. This looks like a crease in the leaf. Okay, it's coming together. We're getting a leaf. clean up the edge a little, I will use a small brush to paint a few strokes. Okay, it's about it. Let's move on to the next shadow layer. Add a shadow and rename to Shadow Leaf 2. Don't forget a clipping mask. Choose the darkest green color. Use to emphasize the dark shadow area. I would like to remind you again, when you paint with the dark color, I want you to just use it for emphasizing or add a little. Don't cover the whole previous layer we just did. Hold your horses. Adding the leaf pattern is just the detail. There's an area around the tip of the leaf as well. Detail lightly. Don't put too much hand pressure. Reduce the brush size, emphasize the leaf pattern. Okay. I'm pretty satisfied with this part. Let's move on to the next step. Add a layer, rename it Light Leaf. We'll be adding the light. Turn on clipping mask. Working on the leaf's base color, choosing a bright green color. Then add to the area where the light hit. I'm using a pretty small brush, but it's not too small. Paint your strokes in the same direction, just follow the direction of the leaf. Paint lightly, don't put too much pressure. Slowly build up the light until we're happy with it. There's also the upper part of the leaf near the leaf pattern that should be a little bright. You notice that the leaf pattern that is dark green suddenly look bent. It should be a little bright here. It's very obvious which part is above, which part is below, and which part is bent. Light and shadow allow us to see more dimensions. There's this part near the leaf base as well. Also the area near the midrib that the light hit. Keep checking the original picture. Use the work as your reference. Where else we should put more highlight? Obviously at the light down here to give more flavor, just a bit. It won't cover the color that we just did. Now, the highlight near the leaf pattern, right there. Now, it looks pretty good now. There's a part of the leaf stem as well. Reduce the brush size and add light to it. Notice I'm adding light to the midrib in the center as well. Just a little bit. The leaf is now detailed. Gradually add the light to it. Paint small strokes. You notice that the light green strokes are above the dark green strokes that we did earlier. But the light green strokes are smaller. They will be in the middle. Slowly paint the strokes for the bright area. Let's move on to the stem. Go back to the shadow, leave one layer. Based on the brown color, pick a darker color or use the color to paint the edge of the stem. Make sure you have clipping mask on. The step is easy. Reflect the original picture to see which area should be dark and which area should be light. There's a flat area on the top as well. Erase the green color from here and we'll replace with the stem right light area. That's it, we're almost done. I'll add a little more highlight. Reduce the size of the brush and paint very lightly, like you're poking it. We're doing this to make our apple stem more three-dimensional. Okay. Adding a little bit more green. We'll add a water drop. Go back to the light green, choose the dark green color, the water drop shadow. Make some small circle and ovals. Paint gently, won't be cover ovals. Then choose the white color to use the Eagle Hawk brush. Use that to add the water drop light circle with a small circle inside. It's very easy. Choose the light color, decorate the edge of the leaf a little bit. Move on to the last step. Add the layer and put it at the end. Choose the timber brush. Choose the color gray, and then use it to paint under the object, under the apple. The layer must be below all the other layers. Slowly add it. The shadow will be right under the apple. It won't spread out too much. Choose a darker shade of gray. The inner part should be quite dark. All right, that's it. We just finished the first apple for this class. Congratulations!